I'm with Norwix. We've been around since 1997, actually under the name Ink.Jet. Last 3 years ago, we changed the name to Norwix because we were Inkjet and we were selling Inkjet, and it was just very confusing, so we decided on a brand new name. We're based in Northeast US, right between New York and Boston, exactly about halfway. And we started in the TIJ business, so I want to tell you guys a little bit more about TIJ. A lot of these presses that you're developing are based on piezo-based technology, and I think there's a new shift in TIJ that might actually add, that's coming back, that's increasing print speeds and increasing quality for the short ones, or like I said, the small market of personalization and so forth. So what do we do at Norwix? We basically provide technology enablers. So the two technology we support right now is from HP, so TIJ-based systems, TIJ 2.5 and TIJ 4.0, and then Ricoh Gen 5 essentially. So we take the core technology, printhead technologies, and then we provide enablers around the technologies. So the ink delivery system, waveform generation, rasterization, mechanical systems around there. So that's kind of our drive enablers. And then we provide those to OEMs, integrators, solution providers that sell that final solution to the customer. So just like GIS or Meteor or some of the other companies, we're the guys in the middle. We reduce your time to market. We give you the tools that you need to build a very successful product, and hopefully you use it. So the technologies we support currently, we started with just a small little cartridge, TIJ 2.5, half-inch cartridge, and we have thousands of those, hundreds of thousands of those sold now into like direct product marking and coding, where you put your expiration, lack of expiration dates. Then we went into a piezo business. We started in 2016 or so forth, where we created enablers for the Ricoh Gen 5 printheads, and I'll get into those a little bit. But what I'm gonna concentrate mostly on is the new TIJ technology, which is coming from HP. This is brand new, so you actually, this is not, maybe it wasn't really on an open market to date, but some of the slides that you've seen, maybe from the box maker actually, and previously on some of the HP presses, these printheads are the core engine of those presses. That's what's inside the presses. On a T4 press, the C4, some of the wide format printing systems. So the core printing technology is this TIJ 4 printhead, which is 4.25 inch printhead. And until recently, HP kept it for themselves. So they would build the product, the nice high quality presses. But as of December of 2023, they actually released the printhead to OEMs. And we are the first company in the world to actually provide drivers for the small 22 millimeter TIJ 4.0 printhead, and also the 4.25 printhead. So I'll get into a little bit more details about these and see, to kind of give you an insight of what they do and how they could help you develop next generation printers. Again, these are not measured in square miles. This is for production print, narrow, maybe 4 to 12, 16 inches, low ink volume, because the printheads are a lot cheaper. They're about the fifth of the cost of any piezo printhead, but the ink cost is expensive. So if you're looking, like the previous slide, we were showing 20 cents per box. This would probably cost you $1 or more to actually print a full box. But if you need to add some personalization or maybe some dynamic code on a litho press or gravure press, this is a great way of adding dynamic data to the analog print. So just giving you a little insight, some of the markets we service. So when people ask me, what do you guys do? And I always, we say, oh, we're production print, we're personalization, we're end-of-the-line printing. But the best way I kind of describe it is we specialize in an ugly print. So, and they're like, well, what do you mean by that? What I mean by that is you get your beautiful box, you get your beautiful bottle with all the nice graphics, and somewhere on that bottle you're going to have a barcode, you're going to have an expiration date, some dynamic data, and like that's what we do. So we don't do the beautiful, beautiful print, but we do the dynamic print that you need to do, that needs to be different from piece to piece, somewhere on the production lines. So the markets we service, mail graphics, ticket printing, primary, secondary, a lot in pharmaceutical. So pharmaceutical and medical devices where you go to the doctor's office and you see all these packages with all these different barcodes and names and regulations run on it. We do a lot of printing on those type of applications where we actually put our printers right on the production lines of where these devices are actually made, not somewhere in a print shop where you pre-print the packages. And we get some very interesting applications and installations that I'm going to go into a little bit. So the first thing I want to show you, talk about is the Ricoh Gen 5. And all you guys, pretty much anybody who's in the printing world knows this printhead. I don't need to get into the specifics of what this printhead does. It's a very reliable printhead. We love it. But what I want to talk about is simplicity of our drivers that might actually simplify your printer or enable you to provide I can't say cheap printer, but let's say cost-optimized printer, just the way we did the electronics, the ink delivery system, and so forth. So we actually drive this head up to 60 kilohertz. Ricoh lowered the specification down to like 40 kilohertz. We actually drive it at 60 kilohertz and above it with our electronics and our special ink delivery system. And when we first started looking at the Gen 5, we went out into the market and we tried to purchase off-the-shelf drivers. But for our application, size did matter. We didn't have a huge press. We didn't have a huge bar where we could fit all these electronics. We needed to put it right on the production line where they're actually making stuff, where usually you got very small area, small footprint, and having the little mini fridge with the meniscus controlled, your drivers, your waveformers, everything like that just did not work for us. So we ended up designing our own. And in our case, I believe size matters. So we were able to take this little mini fridge with all these components and shrink it down to that board level. That little board right there, which you could see is just a little bit bigger than the printhead itself, does all the RIP, all the waveform generation, all the power supplies, ink delivery system, meniscus control, heater. It could drive a service station for cleaning and wiping the printhead, degasser, everything right on it. So that allowed us to create printheads instead of huge print bars. We could actually create a printhead that's the size of a business card, essentially, vertically, and squeeze it into very tight installations. And what really enabled us to create these little printheads is our patented ink delivery system. And that was probably the biggest difference between us and some of the other solution providers. We came from a TIG world, and we always worked with these cartridges, and why is it so hard to keep this meniscus? Why do you have to be a negative? And then why do you have to have all these pumps and tanks with air, and then you have ink pumps, ink valves, air valves, air pumps, and then you move this thing around, it falls apart, and it's very finicky. So there's got to be a simpler way of doing this, and that's what we did. We actually drive our entire meniscus system off a single pump. So we have one pump that measures the ink usage of the printhead, and we just pump it to the printhead directly on the fly. There's no intermediate tanks. There's no air involved in the system. We could take our ink delivery system and, without any changes, print down, print sideways, print upside down, move the head around in any orientation, and still maintain our meniscus, and not worry about air getting or ink getting into the air valves and so forth, and destroying the whole system. And our entire ink delivery system is based on this tiny little pump. A $60 pump does everything you need. So what would you rather have? This very complex octopus-looking thing with all these tubes and valves and tanks that's integrated, or just tiny little pump that just pumps ink directly to the printhead. And that's our big differentiator when it comes to the piezo technology. So if you're looking for a cost-optimized solution, simplified solution that need to fit in a smaller package, let me know, and we'll love to help you out with that. So that's our Rico system, and then simple application. I'm just showing a couple of them. So like medical devices, pharmaceutical devices, printing on bottles. Not the pretty stuff, but more. We have stuff where we're printing QR codes directly on the like water bottles and soda bottles on bottling lines at 70,000 an hour. So we apply that Rico Gen 5 not just on a nice web press or a nice print shop where you have perfect media control. We actually put them on bottling lines. We put them on strapping lines. We put them on lumber lines. We have them printing, shuttling on syringe printing, syringe filling machines. Where else? All types of industrial applications where we actually are printing online versus offline. So that's Rico Gen 5, which again you guys are familiar with. But if you're looking for a simpler solution, come see us. Come see me, and I'd love to talk to you about it. What I want to spend most of my time is on TIG 4.0 because I believe TIG is making its way back into the printing industry. So in the 90s, you had your low-resolution piezo systems that kind of dominated the space. Then TIG came in early 2000s and shifted a lot of the business from piezo to TIG. And then high-quality piezo printers came out. So you had your Kyocera's, you had your Ricos, you had your Seikos, you had your Konica Minoltas, and then the technology kind of shifted to the piezo world. But now with the TIG 4.0 coming out of HP, you have Memjet, you have Epson releasing, not Epson, but Canon releasing TIG-based systems as well. I believe there's going to be another shift back into the TIG-based technology to go over it. So there's two different types. So there's a 22 millimeter print head. This little guy has 4,800 nozzles per inch. 4,800 nozzles. No piezo-based system can achieve that density of nozzles on a print head. The native resolution is 1200 dpi, and it has 4 redundant nozzles. So even if you use one nozzle in a column, there's 3 other ones to pick up the pace or pick up that space and fill in the gaps. So nozzle outs could be handled a lot easier. 22 millimeters. So this is for very narrow or multi-pass or shuttling systems, if you like them. And then the whole thing is fed off 770 milliliter bulking supplies. So we provide drivers for those, and we'd love to talk to you about your applications. We could formulate custom inks for this print head, custom colors. It's all water-based at this point, but in the future we might be expanding into solvent-based systems as well. That's further and further down the road. So that's one of them, but we provide full enablers all the way from driving the print head itself to RIP to maintaining meniscus. And the beauty of these is you don't have to worry about a fancy meniscus control. That's all done in a cartridge. All you need to do is just pump ink into it. That's it. So that's the 22 millimeter. And then the 4 1/4, which again, this was released in December of last year, so it's very new to the market. So if you're looking for narrow 4 1/4, 8-inch, and maybe up to 16-inch, this is a great solution. Same thing. This has nozzle redundancy. It actually has 2 dual ink channels. So inside this print head, you could actually run 2 different color inks. So you could do a full color bar within 2 print heads. Instead of having 4, you could actually do it all in just within 2 print heads. Same thing. It's filled from 775 milliliter supply, and this print head for a 4 1/4 inch is about, depending on which print head you're comparing it to, a fifth or a tenth of the cost of a piezo-based print head. So it's a significant difference in terms of capital cost for your printing solution. And it lasts anywhere from 20 to 80 liters. If you print fast and a lot, this head is going to last a lot longer. And again, we provide full, we're actually in the middle of developing drivers. Those will be available this summer for any OEM to integrate. But we're well ahead, well on the way of basically taking our 22 millimeters, which is available now, and updating it for the 4.25. And the one thing that this technology also brings on the 4.25 is micro recirculation. And this is to really improve the uptime and the decap time or recovery of the printhead. So HP did an amazing job with it. If you guys are not familiar with TIG, TIG stands for thermal inkjet versus piezo, where in piezo you get mechanical shift in a piezo crystal to just push the ink out. In a TIG-based system, you're using heat. So you got, within the ink chambers, you got these little square things which are high power resistors, and they heat up to 300 degrees instantly. Basically 72,000 times a second, and they create this little explosion, micro explosion, which creates a bubble, physical air bubble that pushes ink out of the nozzle. So to jet the ink, they create the explosion right above the nozzle, and that pushes the ink out. But for micro recirculation, they provide an inner tube, and they generate a micro explosion within the chamber of the cartridge. And what that does, it shifts the ink around right above the nozzle. So right before you're ready to print, or you want that nozzle recovery, you simply just kind of flush the ink around it. And when you're ready to print, that nozzle is fresh, it's ready to go, and you don't have to do any purging, you don't have to do any recirculation within the whole system. It's all handled for you by this beautiful little cartridge. And every time you replace it, it's a brand new printhead. So let's say you scratch it up, you damage it, you take it out, you put it in, and this is operator replaceable. You don't have to have a technician go out to the site, disassemble the whole thing. You literally just plug it in, or take it out, plug a new one in, and you're ready to go. So again, I just wanted to show you some of the new TIG-based systems that are available on the market. And we're looking, right now it's all monochrome, where we're looking for label replacement. So, you know, there's a big shift in Europe from shrink wrapping from plastic to paper. And once you wrap something in paper, you can't see what's inside. So this is a perfect opportunity to provide customers ability to personalize or print on the outer of the package what's inside the package. So we're seeing a lot of applications for that. Personalization, so again, not square miles, but if you're running a batch of 100, 1,000, couple thousand prints for, a wedding or something like that, this would be a perfect solution for you. And then TIG 2.5, low end, probably not for this audience. And we provide full customization anywhere from the software to providing just electronics, the whole solutions, everything in between. So I think my time is up. If you guys have any questions, come see us in the back. I'd love to answer some of them.